training video on Sherm Software. I'm Caroline Kingston. What we're looking at here today is your dashboard in Sherm. You can report a hazard, report an incident, report an issue, and conduct My Workplace inspections. Your login is top right-hand corner. You can view your profile, update that. Simply go to the bottom, edit, make the changes, and update. Any licenses and certificates that are registered for you, you can go in and edit these details, put a new photo image of your license certificate and update. You can change your password and find out who your administrator details are, and we encourage you to use the logout. If you require tech support, log it in here. This is not available to everyone, but there is mail tracking, so you can see emails that have gone from the system and then any notifications that are sent to you. For people, you can manage employees through Manage Employee. Simply, you can filter by site, department, position. Click on the Actions button, click Edit. You can update details, change people to sites, give them different positions, user roles, and who they report to. Licenses and certificates are recorded with an expiry date, and notification reminders are sent at 2 weeks, 4 days, and 2 days prior to the expiry to the license holder and the person that they report to in Manage Employees. Training undergone is recorded. That will map into registers and the training register or training register. There you can see who has completed what training is required, when it's next due, and you can export that record, use the filters. If you have a lot of people, suggest that that is done by site, and export the records. That will help you with scheduling training. You can record qualifications relevant to the position, add health information. So when a test is required, again, notification reminders will go to the user, the worker, as well as the person that they report to, and you can upload attachments. When uploading attachments, there's the document, but if you record a note, there is no requirement to add an attachment. In documentation, workers will have access to all approved documents. You can sort by document type, press search, and then simply download the document. All previous versions are held and available, and everything is under version control. When a document is due for review, those who have access to the document register will be able to filter by status if it's pending review, review is approved, rejected, or due for review. There's also a report for documentation where you can look at review, approve, and your version history. Documents that are no longer required can be archived, and you'll have access to those along with all previous versions. In Manage Risk, your risk matrix configuration can be updated simply by editing, changing the descriptors, and clicking Save. This risk matrix configuration is available through Manage Risk Hazards, so just as like adding a hazard, add in the details, the hazard type, a description of the risk, who it was reported by and reported to, and you can also add additional viewers. Press Save. Once a hazard has been reported, you can add corrective actions as well as photos. These can be uploaded from the phone, or files can be dropped in here and they can be viewed. You do your risk assessment, and this is where our matrix will come in and give you a risk score. Corrective actions, these are assigned, so add action. You utilize the hierarchy of control, as that's a legislative requirement to actually, when considering controls to manage any risk in your business. You can use this is optional to do a follow-up. So for a high-level control, if you're looking at whether the control has been effective, you can put a follow-up period on that. Once the corrective action has been assigned, then it has various status where you would do, the user will do a corrective action evaluation, and then the assigner can either approve or reject the corrective action. So we'll quickly just go through that. So we have a corrective action assigned. You can actually request for the due date to be extended. You can make general comments as you're managing things. You can do a corrective action evaluation. Change the status to close once you've done your action. And this comment should really feed back to the assigner the effectiveness of the control that's being implemented. Click Save. Notification will go via email to the assigner. You can look at comments. So in progress, go back to the corrective action. We can click on the approve button, and if there was any attachment or whatever associated with that, you can upload that. So this is where we can actually review or approve. Oh, good. So you can reject. If it's rejected, it would be reassigned with a new due date and a reason why, and then we can approve it. So a hazard is considered controlled once all corrective actions have been completed. You can then print that. Not all people have the option to delete. You will notice that the legends are down the bottom of each page. So you can have a print. That will show you we haven't finished off the residual risk assessment. And then there'll just be images down the bottom associated with the hazard that has been reported. Incident management, we will go through this one. So simply add incident. These are the fields to be completed. You'll notice that the incident types, it's just not for an injury. So whether it be a complaint, loss of containment, plant and equipment damage. So looking, we'll just go into an injury. So these are the details. If an incident is notifiable, you can select the authorities for which notification is required, and then you can put in the notification date. Attachments, this is where photographs and documents can be uploaded from the mobile app. Any photos will automatically display here. Equipment, if there is equipment involved, it will link, it'll pull from the plant register. So if your plant and equipment or the plant is not in the register, you can simply just add the plant name, put some details in here and save. Witnesses, add witnesses. Again, this can be done from the mobile app. Injury register, add injury details, either external or internal persons. This will pull from our manage employee register, and then you can complete injury type, agency, medical attention, and all these details and press save. Inherent risk, so there's your scope of assessment and pulling from the risk matrix. Once we have completed the inherent risk assessments, you'll see here now the investigation tab opens up. So we can assign an investigator. Once that's saved, we can then add team members. So choose who you want as your team. I'm already assigned, so we'll just submit that. Team members can actually make notes, and those communications go via email. So any case note that's written in here will be shared directly with the team members. An incident is considered as investigated when the root causes are assigned. So you would do that however you want to do it offline, but at the end of the day, you choose from the root cause and then you put your investigation comment in here. Corrective actions. This works exactly the same as what we had earlier. Close our bit, and then it'll go to the approver who can review the corrective actions. So you would actually have a look at your view comments. It's been done. If there's been any attachments, they're uploaded. So you can just play around in the different tabs there and we can just approve. It's all done. So that's incident management. Again, you can print out that report and send off those details to wherever it needs to go if need be. Manage risk issues. So in terms of issues, this works very similar to the reporting hazards. So these are just things that don't really fit in there, but you want to raise a general improvement. Any faults or maintenance that are logged, that will then be registered against the plant item here. So if we just look at this, I think we've got, okay. So here we've got a fault and we're linking it to the motor vehicle. Now, if your plant is not, if the fault or maintenance, you can't find the relevant equipment from the plant register, then you would check that it's not in the plant register. It could be somebody else's equipment or something like that that's come onto site, maybe a piece of hire equipment that hasn't been added into the register, the plant register. At least we can still track that information. So photographs, assessments, it's not really mandatory for the issues management, but I'd encourage you to do it, especially if there was like, in terms of business risk or an environmental aspect or something like that, an improvement where there's opportunity there for the business. And again, case notes can be recorded in there and you have the print function as well. Injury management. So any injuries as a result of an incident will be managed through here. So you've got injury details, medical information, which you can just add, medical certificates. In terms of next appointments and all the rest of it, you'll be provided with email notifications on those next appointments due. Any external medical reports you'd be adding into here, adding case notes when you are consulting with the worker, especially if they are off work, and even when they return to work, that how are they going in terms of the suitable duties, return to work plan, etc. So you can also do a return to work plan in Sherm. So it's just a matter of adding in the plan name, what are the goals, the period it is for, what days that they would be working, and the hours. what duties that are suitable for them, and if there are any restrictions, and you can save that. And then in terms of managing the details, claim details, recording costs and days lost, the duration of the claim number, by filling out all of this information, then that will be provided, like in your report section when you are looking at injury reports, and you've got days lost down here as well. So that's a nice little review. And medical review, well, that's quite excessive, so you can have a look through that. Let's have a look at the inspection. So how this works is you set up various categories of inspections. The types of inspections, you just simply add whatever it is required. And then when you add, you have the option here to develop the form builder. Now that form builder is what we're seeing over here. When you click into the form builder, you will see there is a help feature here, and click on this link, and that will provide you the information and guidance on how to develop electronic forms in Sherm. So once the form builders are done and you're all happy with the various types of inspections, then you just have to add your inspection masters. Property, put the location, you would select the electronic form builder. Okay, that one doesn't have any. No, that one doesn't either, for example. So you'll see there automatically it comes up, and then you'll assign that to a site. Okay, so then once they are all populated, you can then go through, schedule the inspection, and inspections that are done offline or by an external person, you can add past inspection. So for example, we can go in here. This is our electronic form builder, and this is the assign access. So this is where an inspection, a type of inspection has been set up specifically for an external contractor to do. So if you were doing this, you would put in their details, give them a verification code, how long that is active for, and then that will be emailed to them for their completion when they come onto site. Otherwise, just click on the inspection and start putting in the information, clicking off the relevant checks. Once it's all done, have a little sign off, and then you would save and submit. Any photographs that are done as a result of this inspection, then you can just you can upload them here, or external documents from the mobile app. You can actually just upload photographs straight away. So that makes it nice and easy, and the inspection then the status will update to completed. With regards to plans, this is where we develop plans, and that they can be assigned to people, released, and then that way any plan actions will be managed in my task. So I have an action here for reviewing and updating licenses. So I can say that I started that today, I got it completed today, and the status is completed. Now, if I was still working on that, I'll just clear. I could actually change to work in progress and just keep some notes in and around where I'm up to if there is a number of workers that I'm working on. And then you can just save that and it'll change the status to work in progress. You can filter by status, and you can also filter by plan name or the objective. Performance is just tracking historically actions that have been raised. So we can monitor audits, communications, which is percentage of meeting attendance. So there's our targets. And in terms of incidents, when they've been reported, what's been investigated. So that's just a nice little tracker, which can be exported to Excel spreadsheet. and that data can be used as well. If you want to track injury data for the lost time injury frequency rate and significant injury frequency rate, then you would be required in Manage Employees to add employee hours for each of the months worked. The other section in planning is meetings. So this is where you can schedule meetings. Once a meeting has been, so you can add past meeting, schedule a meeting, put the details in, and then you would select your attendees. Clearly, this can be done by site and department, and then choose the workers that you want to attend the meeting. Once you've got all of that information, if it's reoccurring, so on a weekly basis, you choose the day that you want to have that meeting. Monthly, you might go the first Tuesday of each month. Make sure you put your agenda in there so people know what is going to be discussed. And if there's any specific documents that you want to have reviewed during that meeting, then it can be included as well. Once the meeting has completed, then you would mark off the attendees, and your meeting minutes, you can either record these electronically, you can add action items to meeting minutes, otherwise attach your meeting minutes and add action items. Those meeting minutes will then be available to attendees. And you have the option to have a private meeting, so it's visible only to the meeting scheduler and attendees. Otherwise, you can just have meeting minutes available to all persons in your organisation. Audits, these are audit tools can be developed in the application, scheduled for completion. You can view the various audit scores from the audits that have been conducted, and then see your overall performance of audits over a period of time. So you can search by, say, general observation, audit, and there's been a number of those done over a period of time. Registers, so chemicals. For all of your chemicals, you can conduct risk assessments. Once you've gone through and worked through the risk assessments, if there's additional controls that are required, you can then assign corrective actions. When this happens, then if you've added additional controls, then what will happen is a new hazard report will be raised and the corrective actions are managed through there. When uploading your chemicals in Sherm or adding them, then you have to make sure that the safety data sheet is within 5 years of the issue. Otherwise, the chemical will display in red in the listing, for example, chlorine. So we can see that that is way overdue. So we might just update that for demonstration purposes. And it's hazardous and all the rest of it. You've got where it's used, and we've attached the safety data sheet. You can see it no longer displays in red. You can then complete the risk assessment. And then once it's all done, you just submit, or if you're still working in it, save and close. And you can also export that document to PDF if you need a record of that. Any attachments associated with a chemical you can put in here, and the hazard record. So if we had additional controls, it will link to the hazard report in Manage Risk Hazards. Contractors and suppliers. So this is where we manage our contractors and suppliers. These ones pending assessment would mean that we are looking at having insurances, and we can see here none have been added. So you can put specific records against a contractor supplier. If it's a supplier, it could be information products that you use. If the company have any level of certification, whether it be NADA to quality management, OHS management systems, you can put that in there as well. And you can keep general notes on contractors and suppliers. If you have contractors and suppliers where they have workers that come and work on your site, we manage them similar to like people manage employees. So we'll just have a look at, there we go to Sarah. So we have their employee details. You can give them a user access right. If they have an email listed here, then this is how they'll get access. Attachments, like a work contract, there's a good example. Licenses and certificates, and we can also manage the training undergone by that worker. Now, if a worker is no longer active, you would just change to inactive and update and close. Now back into the registers, legal obligations. Oh, it looks like I haven't got a register set up here, but a list of all legislation will display in this section here. Best do that. So it's simply just like add a new document, where it's for, put the document name in, put the URL and save. Manual task, so this is where you can add your manual task. Again, you can do a risk assessment on these manual tasks electronically, put the information in, and again, if there is additional controls, click yes, add the controls, and then in our, and then that also too will link into the hazard risk management. So you can monitor your manual tasks, procedures, workers at risk, and the controls that you're doing to controls that are being raised to mitigate their risk exposures to a musculoskeletal injury. Plant register. So when you can set up and have various types of plant in your register, so that then enables you to filter by plant type. Now it'll only show you what plant type masters are active. So we might just go to vehicles. Now with the vehicle, you've got the information like with regards, you can also add in service, maintenance, test tag, calibration. If there is an update, for example, service, you can put a record in here. And the amount, press save, and based on the frequency, that date will then update for you. All records that you have put in are maintained here, and you can export that record to get a running history of activities that have gone in relevant to the plant item. Risk assessment, again, you can do here you can link if there is a safe work procedure, and that will pull from our approved documents. So example, if the item becomes decommissioned, you would put the decommission date in. You can do the electronic risk assessment again. So once you've worked through that, you can just save that. And we will be adding in again the corrective actions there so we can have a hazard report as we do with the chemicals and the manual task. Training register, as I said, like when you put training undergone, that'll show the gaps that you have, but also when we schedule training, once training has been completed, you can mark off attendance, and then that will update in your training register. You got the opportunity to develop various competency assessment tests. develop your own training masters. With that, you can determine the frequency of training, give some information. Any approved documents, say again from the approved documents, will be maintained in here and they will display when you schedule training. So the participant of the training knows that they're the records that or documents that they need to read. If there is an additional attachment record which is external to your approved documents, like I don't know, an image or something like that, you can add into here. And then if there is some links, whether that they are internal links from your cloud folders or wherever, you can add them in here. A user, when they're completing their training, they will go into here. They need to notify the organizer of attendance so that they can mark off their training. And in their My Training, this will give them the information excuse me, of what's included in their training, along with any links. Your training needs analysis is mapped against the managed position, managed position. So it's important to go back and review what training each position is required to undertake, and that will keep your training needs analysis current, as well as assisting with your training register, identifying what training is required based on the worker's position in the company. Okay. Excuse me. Now, lastly, there's a heap of reports in here. So users, you can see active, inactive workers. So as when you need to review that. You can also check recent logged in reports. So how active have your workers been in terms of using the application? Employees, you can look over periods for expired licenses and certificates. You can then also look at a skills matrix and then just find, who's got what license and certificate. You can also cruise through and see, what's expired as well. We're also keeping a record of inactive and active workers and when that happened. And for health information, you can also run a report to see when certain health tests are due to be redone. Review and approve of your documentation. Version history control is being maintained. There are various reports for the risk module. Corrective actions that you can run, and these are good, to do by person as well as by site. Injury reports, investigations, you can look at root cause, your various registers, training and competency needs, and then the monthly data analysis. Now, this monthly data analysis, that can be set up in the user management for a user notification rights. And if we wanted to, for monthly data analysis for all sites, and select a user, and we can just add notification. Now, to get this notification going here, which is a push notification, excuse me, you can simply just put the information in that you want to communicate out to your workers. And like we might just change we'll just keep that as is. And then you'll see the notification in here is welcome to Sherm. And this is how it's viewed. And that will also be pushed through to the mobile app. So that's pretty much a summary of Sherm, the functions, the modules, how things work. These are your dashboard messages, sorry. These will also be removed once the action has been completed. So we can just sort of click in through here, go to the corrective action, review. I'm just going to edit that so it doesn't pop up again. And I can just take that review off and change it to approved. That's great. Go home, close, refresh that. Still there. We'll delete it. Should have closed out of that. Never mind. And as you can see, to get multiple tabs open, you just need to right click and open up a new tab. So thank you very much for your attention on this video. I hope it helps you navigate yourself around Sherm. And if you've got any problems, concerns, queries, or improvements that you see might be beneficial, then you can either, one, you've got an opportunity to send through to tech support, that, or email Caroline@safetyforlife.com.au. Thank you for using Sherm. Take care.